Hi, I'm nervous, and I want to say I can't believe it, but I can. We are being introduced to yet another Poppy Playtime Chapter 4 villain via a trailer, though this, as I believe it, is an actual gameplay trailer, which I believe is the first we are seeing from Chapter 4, and not a moment too soon, as January is coming to an end quickly, and we are going to be getting the game very soon. The day that this comes out, the game might already be out. I may be releasing this. I may have timed this strangely. I think that this video might actually be coming out the same day that the game releases. So by the time you're seeing this, we'll know way more. This will be a fairly passe video by the time of its release, but I don't care. I've reacted to like every other Poppy Playtime Chapter 4 trailer, and why not? Why not? Why not do it again, one more time? Once more around the bend. And we'll get to hear some of my final predictions and things like that, as we'll know if I'm right or wrong. So you will have a front row seat to being able to correct me quite immediately. That'll be exciting. The good thing about Poppy Playtime is like I'm nowhere near as protective over like my feelings about the different characters as I am over Five Nights at Freddy's. I feel like I'm way more likely to become defensive about things that I feel about Five Nights at Freddy's, whereas Poppy Playtime, I really am just kind of getting in there, having fun, getting out, not really thinking about it that much. And so, we have fun here. I have, however, been growing more fond of the story of Poppy Playtime as I do my research behind the scenes. I have followed the series since its initial announcement, just as I said, very casually. And this is how I got into Five Nights at Freddy's to begin with, just a very casual sort of viewer of the franchise, not getting into the theorizing much, and just over time finding myself developing an interest, after everybody else does all the hard parts. So I'm excited to watch this. I don't want to waste your time with all of this blah, 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 because very likely you already know a lot more about this character than I do today, watching this from the past, So we're not going to waste any more time. I'm going to jump into it, and let's get to reacting. Oh. Okay, he's escaped. Drippy boy.
Down here.
Okay, hold on. Poppy, you're interrupting my thoughts, rude. So doughy like Joey, funny. I'll give it that. Bro is drippy. Okay? The drippopotamus over here. There's something in the background there that I'm struggling to identify. But does that not seem... That seems like a... we're just getting some religious imagery there. It's reminding me of Dog Day, actually, the way the Dog Day was strung up. It's reminiscent. It's reminiscent. I don't like
Down
Joey.
here. It's not like anything you've seen above. It's hell.
For what it's worth, Poppy, what we've seen so far did not seem like heaven. So upstairs is purgatory. I'll give her that. Purgatory, and this is the bad place, as they might say, on a primetime television. Oh, there we are. That's gameplay, baby.
Playtime wanted it to be.
Playtime wanted it to be hell.
Now what's this?
They call him the Doctor.
They called
He
him
works with the prototype.
Glamrock Freddy? In my Poppy Playtime? Prototype. Dr. Sawyer. That cannot be a coincidence. I don't have fun wordplay for you. But Glamrock Freddy is in Poppy Playtime. Okay.
Now what's this?
They call him the Doctor.
Where's this Joey?
He works with the prototype. Commands everything down here.
Is that Markiplier? Wait a minute. Is it Markiplier? It sounds like Markiplier, doesn't it? Am I crazy? Is that something other people are saying? Am I making it up?
Hunting us. Starving us.
There are no places you can hide.
Oh, 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 did he make copies of himself?
Not from me.
Oh, no, did you see that? Uh-oh. Are those more of him? He's gonna send him own self out, running around. Ugh. Well, that seems fun. That seems lovely. Okay.
I've got something special and more.
I need to make this right.
Okay. Oh, I see.
Let's make a game of you.
Hurry! Let us in!
Oh, wait! Kissy Missy's okay. I'm just now understanding. Kissy Missy's okay. How dare they tease like they were gonna off my girl, Kissy Missy. She's fine. Everyone, she's fine. You heard it here last. Sorry, I'm backing up a fair bit here. Yeah, not from you.
I've got something special and more.
Okay, that might have been the prototype mimicking Markiplier.
I need to make this right.
Okay, so yeah, so they're like weeping angels. They're like the endoskeletons from Security Breach. Oh, I mean a lot like the endos from Security Breach or from Ruin. Are they in Security Breach too? They're in both. My brain is mush. Okay, we're doing the same thing we did chapter 3 with them. So here we see zombies. Or we're seeing some Pompeii-esque energy here where they were frozen in time while trying to escape, which is very interesting to me because or they were strung up. To look like that? I don't know, that seems less likely. Wait, is she injured? Or she's got like a backpack on her. Hold on. She's got like a backpack, a strap on her or something, but she looks like she's bled. Or is bleeding. Does she not look injured? I mean, like, I can accept that the strap is kind of tufting her fur in such a way, but, like of course, the strap seems to have, you know, snatched her waist a little bit there, but, like, you see this looks like blood, and there's some blood drips here, so she definitely got into a scuffle. I wonder how we save her. I guess you know by now. Okay, there's the Pianosaurus.
You lied to me!
You lied to me. Oh, no.
Hiya there, pal.
I was right, that was...
Follow me.
No, I don't want to follow you at all, anywhere, ever. You, not a fan. Safe haven. Interesting. Okay, so, hold on. Let's go back up to big screen for a second here and talk about what we saw together. So, Doey, presumably, is he gonna be the big bad? Poppy was lied to. Kissy Missy is safe. We love that. But for how long? You know, I've been going back and looking at the older chapters to kind of try to get a better read on Poppy herself because she has flip-flopped a lot. She's a little bit of a Gemini energy. I'm getting Gemini energy from a Poppy. So what, like, the question continues. Is like, who are we meant to trust? What does trusting the right person even look like? Would a just person be on our side? Because we only know so much about ourselves, but we do know that we used to work at Poppy Playtime. I believe the book that came out, it'll be on screen here. The book that came out seems to have given a lot more information to us about who we were. And we do seem fairly knowledgeable of some goings-ons at the factory that would suggest that we seem well enough aware that something more sinister is taking place, but I can't off the top of my head remember how involved we were. We're involved enough for Mommy Longlegs to hate us, but she also, if she was involved in the Hour of Joy, then it's possible that in her eyes, if you worked there, you're a bad person, regardless of your heart, regardless of how much you knew. If you had anything to do with it, you were on the chopping block. And maybe there is more that we know that I am not remembering at this time. But I've been trying to get a better read on Poppy because obviously in chapter 1 we don't interact much with her. It seems she's given us a note, right? We're going all the way back. It seems she's given us a note. Sent us how she got the note out of that box. That becomes a question. So is she really the one that sent us here? Kind of up in the air. I don't really know how much I buy that, but either way, she is released from her glass case at the end of chapter 1, and then in chapter 2, she does seem like she wants to help us escape. But then she's captured by Mommy Longlegs, and then we don't see her for a minute, but when we do see her again, she's a little more sinister. She talks differently than she talks to us in chapter 3. In chapter 2, when she talks back to us after we rid of Mommy Longlegs, she seems really sinister. Like she's really up to no good. And Poppy is supposed to be putting us on a train to get us out of the factory, but realizes we are an asset to her, or could be an asset to her, and says, no, I can't lose you. Which is really interesting because then in chapter 3, she seems to be much nicer to us, right? She's talking to us a lot nicer, and she reveals to us some sensitive information about the Hour of Joy. And so she's a very complicated character, and I've vacillated back and forth between the idea of her being the true villain of it all and being genuinely just kind of mixed up in something. But that sinister aura of hers from chapter 2 really strikes me. I have to believe that they knew enough about what the story, Mom Entertainment, that they knew enough about the story they were telling for that to be intentional. Like, it's not like they had her talk like that and then decided they wanted her to be somebody else. I don't know. This doesn't help, I guess I should say. Is what I really mean. Is like, it's really, really odd that all throughout chapter 4, from the trailer's perspective, she's with us. And again, we trust her. We're not fighting her. We're not against her. But this Doughy guy doesn't seem trustworthy either, like at all. That follow me, that was sinister and strange. But in the fact that he's in a place called Safe Haven seems, it could be like a resistance kind of thing, but I'm not sure. It's very, very odd. I'm gonna go back to the trailer now and keep looking at some things. I'm gonna turn the volume off for the time being. He's escaped. Somebody has escaped him, or he's escaped himself. Now, I don't really totally understand why the bars need to be bent. So is it really him who's escaped here? Because if he is what he is, able to just kind of like form and unform all morphy, you know, well, he wouldn't really need to break anything to like get out of a containment facility unless it was specifically designed for him. And those bars just kind of look like bars. They don't look like they have any extra technology applied to them that would have prevented him from, I don't know what, like unforming? I mean, I don't know. Like, what kind of a containment chamber would Doughy have to be in to hold him? It would have to be something with no ventilation, you know? I don't like the way he drips. I find that very strange. I do not like it. So, okay, so we're down here in like the holding chamber, presumably where the kids are waiting to become the bigger bodies, or they're undergoing that level of experimentation. Alternatively, it's where they're holding the experiments post-op. It could be both, but we do see the 3-square design that we were introduced to in the ARG and was also in the Yarnaby trailer. I'm wondering if it's a map, like it's a layout of the underneath, where like there's different things going on depending on how deep inside you are the halls. And it just kind of seems like standard warehousey kind of environment, but there is like barbed wire up there. I suppose it's kind of like a prison to keep the kids from escaping. I don't know. Playtime wanted it to be hell. To incite a level of obedience from the children, potentially. I was going back, right, previous chapters, and in chapter 2, we get a lot more information about how they decide who becomes what bigger body, or which toy you're assigned to. And you're supposed to kind of latch on to a specific toy, or that's the idea, is at least maybe that is supposedly the idea. I don't know if that's confirmed the idea, but to me, based off of what we're presented with in chapter 2, the children are kind of directed towards one toy, and that becomes like a theme obviously later as well. And when they notice, like, okay, this child latches onto this toy, we're going to put them through specific testing and see if they kind of meet their requirements to become the bigger body that would fit with that toy. You know, they're supposed to be really linked to this toy. It's supposed to mean a lot to them. So potentially putting them in this kind of torture chamber, so to speak, maybe the only solace they have is the toy that they are to become, to sort of prime them to want that, right? Like, that's your only escape from this place. You only get to go back up into the nicer place if you agree to become this bigger body of this character that you've become really attached to in that way. That's just a thought, but like, the fact that they wanted it that way, that Playtime Co. wanted this place to feel like hell, I have to assume that is to incite a level of obedience and submissiveness to them, to do the bidding, right? To do whatever these people, the scientists, want them to do. I don't know. I'm guessing. So so potentially this is when he's seeing us for the first time, and we get freaked out. Look at there's that symbol again. So that is a more tactile version of the symbol, it would seem. See, does it make sense what I'm saying? It's like kind of like there's this outermost layer, an inner layer, and perhaps safe haven is that innermost layer. I don't know. Because if it is a map, and again, maybe this symbol has already been explained in the ARG and I like totally missed it, but I don't remember it being explained in the ARG, just that it was there. But if it's a map kind of telling you to like get all the way into that middle and that's safe haven, I don't know. I feel like it would work anyway that way. They called him the doctor. Woof. That is a dead body. He works with the prototype. That's interesting, right? Let me turn the volume back on for the rest of this, because there is some interesting dialogue and stuff that we probably should hear.
Now what's this?
They called him the doctor. He works with the prototype. Commands everything down here.
Commands everything down here.
Hunting us.
Okay. Hunting us. Starving us. No, look, bad Poppy. Bad Poppy. Look at that. They don't like Poppy in Safe Haven. We're safe here. I think this is she left us, potentially. But she was locked away. So there's a lot of, there's some... I'm scared. Okay, but Safe Haven, let's really look at this here. So we've got, potentially, Bobby Bear Hug here. Brawn, in my opinion, right? We've got Bunzo Bunny. And we've got some others scattered about. I think, is the Smiling Critter Rabbit green? It's the sporty one. But, we've got like a mixture of different toys here that could either be the bigger bodies, but probably more likely are those smaller ones that we've seen in the past. But, could be. And then the big arms wrapping around, I do think resembled the Dough Man, like, at the end of the day. Lots of hearts and different colors, Safe Haven. So he is leading a kind of resistance against Poppy.
Starving us.
There are no places you can hide.
Such an odd idea that the prototype and the doctor are working together, and their mission isn't to provide a good home for the kid. Neither of them are trying to provide a good home for the kids who have been turned. You would think that one of them would be. And I don't know, I'm really hung up on the idea Poppy left us. When we find her, she's trapped. So where did she put herself in there? Somebody put her in there, right? Like, how could she have put herself in? Unless she was never really trapped in there and she could have gotten out at any point and she made herself seem... Why is there so much about Poppy Playtime we don't know? Despite the story feeling so much more straightforward than Five Nights at Freddy's. It's very odd.
Not from me.
No, I can't come from you, bud. There's like a lot of you now.
I've got something special and more.
Now, the question is that really Doughy turning against us or whatever? Or is that the prototype using the Dough-man's voice to trick us? Because we know that the prototype is capable of flawlessly mimicking any number of beings, right? And he doesn't have to, they don't have to be incorporated into them. It seems like he can just hear and get to that point.
I need to make this right.
Okay, I need to make this right. What is it that Poppy needs to make right? In chapter 3, she seems regretful of the hour of joy. If she really is Elliot Ludwig's child, she may have a more pure heart, because we know Elliot was, driven by technology advancing and all these other things, and he really did strive for new knowledge and new scientific breakthroughs and things like that, but not at the cost of human life, potentially. Not at the expense of the well-being of others, necessarily. That part seems more headed up by Dr. Sawyer. There's a potential for that there. She feels like she has to kind of avenge her dad's goodwill, but we don't know that that's who Poppy is. We just know that Elliot did lose a daughter and seemed interested in the restorative powers of the poppy flower. I don't know. I'm just kind of throwing stuff out there.
Let's make a game
This
of you.
entire thing is really strange to me because the hour of joy, they said they stored the bodies, right, in the basement. Oh, look! Hold on. We'll go back to that in a second. They said they stored the bodies in the basement, but these seem like in action. Like they were stopped in the middle of something. Did they not? Like, I can see that they're all also hanging, like on pipes and things like that. So there's the potential that I'm just misunderstanding.
I need to make this right.
This music is giving security breach. This music is giving like that first security breach teaser to me. No offense, Mob Entertainment. They're hanging on stuff. Potential that they've been posed there. Not really the way you'd imagine them stacking bodies in the event of feasting. But they're also skeletons at this point, so maybe they were just all attacked on the stairs and their bodies were just kind of strewn that way.
Let's make a game of you.
Hurry! Let us in! He's outside!
Wait, did I miss the door opening this time? I missed it. I want to go back. Here, look. It's like what I was talking about. It's literally like what I was talking about. Where, like, the blue... Oh, is it a safe? Hold on.
Let's make
It's
a
a
game.
safe, almost. Okay, because this looks like... Yes! Okay! So, I was a little wrong, it seems. But, look at that. It's a safe haven. It's a safe haven. It's the haven for the safe. It's not a safe haven for us. It's a safe place for the safe to be. It's a safe haven. Sorry. I'm sorry. I solved it. I don't even need to play the game. Look, is it possible that other people have already figured this out? And I'm the last one to the party? I'm a late bloomer? Yeah. In fact, it's very likely, but I haven't looked at anybody else talking about this because I wanted it to be a surprise for when I did this, for when I made this video. I think I'm pretty smart for that. I feel an overwhelming sense of accomplishment in seeing this now and making the connection between the title and what we're looking at. Are they actually guarding the safe? Is that really what's going on? I'm very intrigued by this, but that's the freaking symbol. The safe haven. Okay, I'm done saying it.
Make a game of you.
Hurry! Let us in! He's outside!
I failed you.
You lied to me!
You lied to me. Who lied? It has to be Doughman, right? Like, I feel like it's gotta be Doughy that lied. Theoretically, I'm guessing, potentially, that Doughy is supposed to be on the other side of that door letting us in, and then he doesn't. Okay, there's Piana. I wonder how he's gonna work. It looks like we're, like, dropped into a cell with him or something.
Outside!
He's outside. Oh, Olly! I just now know. Oh, that's a body bag. Whatever's going on down here is absolutely not OSHA compliant. This is crazy.
I failed you.
I failed you. Okay, so Doughy says I failed you.
You lied to me!
Hiya there, pal. Follow me.
I hate him. I hate him. I don't like the way he says follow me. Safe haven. We're going to a safe. Okay. So, okay, 1:30:25, yeah. So the day you're watching this, the game is out and people are probably right now playing it. And, frankly, I don't think this video is going to get that many views because, it's like passe as I'm uploading it. But I don't regret being exactly who I am. And I don't regret taking the time out of my day to watch this on camera because if I just watched it all by myself, I wouldn't be going back and watching it again and again and again and thinking about it. I would have just watched it and I would have moved on with my life. Does anyone else think that Doughy sounds like Markiplier? Has Markiplier already said that he's in this game and I missed it? But I don't regret being the kind of person that I am. It just is what it is. If not a lot of people watch this video, then not a lot of people watch this video, and that really does not bother me very much. It seems like from the trailer, they're trying to plant the idea in our heads that the Doughman is kind of the leader of the safe haven, but it is probable that his actual job is to guard the safe, and that's the you lied to me of it all, where we think we're going somewhere safe, and Poppy... Oh, did the Doughman lock her in? Hold on. Let me think about this. So potentially, right, Poppy is a force for good, is the antithesis to the prototype and the doctor and their goals. And the doctor and the prototype and so on and so forth are running everything in the underneath, in the where we are in this level of the Playtime facility. And they kind of turn everybody against Poppy. Doughman locks her away in the glass case and then becomes this sort of faux leader of the rebellion. So, or resistance, as it were. So, oh, come to the safe haven. Look at all the sad creatures. Come, be with me and I will make sure you're taken care of. And kind of, because we do see the critters and everything under there, but we also see in those, like, the critters are, like, feasting on, like, the scraps, right? So there's an idea of having this safe haven, this nice place where you get to go, but it's really a trap. And the Doughman is not actually someone to be trusted. He's not actually leading the resistance. He's leading, he's just as in line with the prototype and the doctor as everybody else. Does that make sense? So that's a thought. On the flip side, right, Poppy could be the bad guy. If Poppy is the bad guy, she's definitely not the only one. And then my question is, like, what actually is her goal? Because that is the biggest issue I have with the idea of Poppy being like a double crosser or traitor or something. It seems more like she was this symbol of the resistance or something, like, but a more peaceful version of that. And maybe she was sort of lured in by the idea of the hour of joy and doing all these things, but ultimately came to understand that it was senseless violence, and it didn't actually lead to anything better, for these stuffies and these toys that are sentient, these children who have been transformed and things like that. And so, maybe she turned back against the prototype, and that became her downfall. And that's why she was locked away. So maybe she's kind of crazy in chapter 2, because, look, okay, maybe in Poppy's head, we free her from her prison of sorts, and she's like, oh my gosh, you did it. You came, you helped me. I wonder if Kissy's the one that wrote us the message. All that aside, I think it would be such a Kissy thing to do. Okay, so what if the gig is that Kissy Missy writes the note, sends it out to us, we receive it and come to Playtime Co., come to the factory and free Poppy. And she's like, oh my gosh, you actually did it. You came, you freed me. But she knows enough people have died here in this place, and she doesn't want us to become one of them. So she really does want to let us out. So she starts to take us right to the train. We're intercepted by Mommy Longlegs, and she takes Poppy, and through watching us go through that and emerge triumphant, right? I'm certain in her head she's like, well, that's it. That was my one chance of freedom, and now it's gone. But she watches us triumph over Mommy Longlegs and gets the idea of, maybe I can actually put a stop to all of this. But that act requires putting us in danger. My question at that point is, why is she so freaking weird about it, when I feel like if she had a pure heart and pure mind of it all, she could just say, hey, I know that this train, you get on it, it's gonna take you out of here, and everything, from there on, you don't ever have to come back here. You can just forget everything you saw and, whatever. But I really do believe you have what it takes to actually put a stop to all of this. Like, would you be willing to come with me and put it into everything? So I have to wonder if that dark tone, potentially, in her voice was her knowing she was actually sending us to die and made a last-minute decision to not kill us. We served only to free her. We served our purpose. She's pretending that she's sending us out of the factory, but she was really sending us on that train that maybe doesn't even actually lead out of the factory, or it doesn't anymore. And maybe you're watching this and you are a really big fan of Poppy and you already know about all this, and I'm just making stuff up that's already been solved or something like that. Oh my gosh, Toast, you spooked me. You were quiet. Ow. Ow, and you hurt me. Great, thank you. I might always be talking out of my butt when I'm doing these Poppy episodes, but we know that she had one plan for us, presumably. Very likely. She had one plan for us. Realized how good we would be at taking on the bigger bodies, and then said, actually, you're coming with me. So I think there's a world where she could be a protagonist or an assistant or an aide, right? A good-hearted individual in this whole big factory of chaos and nonsense. Because here's the thing is, if everybody in the factory is on the same side, we would, and the goal was to kill us, I feel like we'd be dead. So in my head, it's like everybody in the factory either has to know something about us and when we have some higher purpose to serve and everybody's in on it, and it requires this really elaborate ruse that includes the sacrifice of multiple bigger bodies to get us there. Or there are factions in here, and some of them are good and some of them are bad. And it's hard to know which ones to trust, certainly. But it's really hard for me to see the prototype and the doctor as some kind of forces for good based on everything we've gotten about them. And that isn't to say that Poppy still can't be a problematic figure, but I'm leaning more towards the idea that Doman is someone who is going to lure us in to the idea of a safe place to go and, build up the resistance and things like that. The resistance or the safe haven creatures, in the way that they're being propagandized via that wall, does suggest a level of Poppy was once someone that we revered, but we need the propaganda to turn us against, right? Like this picture of her with the X over it, she left us. Imagery suggests that they needed some convincing. Some sort of big propaganda kind of symbol to say, don't trust her. She doesn't care about you. She left you. She doesn't care if you live or die. I care. Listen to me. It's giving, right? So there's that's where I'm at with that. Propping Doman, propping himself up as the arms holding us, taking us to a safe place. Poppy off to the side, we don't like her. It's kind of giving propaganda, and it's making me think that it's more likely that Doman is the double crosser of it all. Plus, I just don't trust him. I'm not a really big fan of him. So, apparently, the moment that this video is out, we'll already know, or we'll have some idea, we'll be well on our way to understanding, and that will, enlighten us in a lot of ways. But those are my predictions, I think. And to end off today's discussion, I think the last entity, person, ally, potential enemy, whatever I want to talk about today, is Olly, our little phone friend, right? I know that during chapter 3, there were a number of us who kind of got a very unsure vibe from Olly. We were just coming off of Ruin, where we did literally have a little boy talking to us through a communications device that was not actually an ally, posing themselves as an ally, as someone who needed our assistance. But if you do everything that he says, bad things happen. I would love to be able to trust Olly, but I don't think I do. I think at the moment, the only people I really do trust, I trust our Kissy Missy and Poppy. More so Kissy Missy than Poppy, but it seems like a power struggle happened somewhere along the way. And Poppy is under the impression that Olly is a good person, or is an ally to us. But I'm wondering if that "you lied to me" or something could be directed at Olly. That's another potential here. And Olly was actually on the side of the prototype. Based on some of the language that Olly uses in chapter 3, he sounds a little bit more, his words have a little bit more flourish to them, a little bit of foreboding energy to them. They give me the same vibes that I get when the prototype speaks. So it would be very easy for the prototype to be mimicking the Olly kind of voice there. And the fact that what Olly tells us to do is divert power from one place to another, or use this power to power up this other thing. Here's a battery. He gives us a battery first thing. And one of the things that we are clearly doing, or seem to have done as a result of that, is power up the doctor. Now, potentially, the doctor trailer that we got isn't happening in chronological order, right? And the doctor's being woken up way earlier, and we're just now in the depths of where he is, or something like that. But I have just kind of a sneaking suspicion that because we did what Olly said, that's what officially woke that doctor back up. That's what, he got the power when we turned everything back on. When we powered everything back up, that is what allows the doctor to actually come back into consciousness. So I think that that's us, and I think that Olly knows that, personally. That's my prediction. That we find out that Olly is on the side of the prototype. Now, what I'd love is to see somebody come to our side, okay? I don't know what our side is, but just something. Because as it stands, it just kind of seems like everybody we meet hates us. And I think that there's a lot of reasons why that's fair, frankly. But it would be cool if somebody would stop to listen and go, hey, do you agree with the stuff that happened here all those years ago? Do you agree with the experiments? And then just our characters just like we just do this with the controller. No, I don't like it. So you would be like on our side if we were trying to escape, or if we, you know, wanted help or something like that. You would do whatever you wanted, whatever you could to make that happen, and then we could be like, and then potentially we could have like a new friend, you know, instead of a new enemy. Because I don't really feel like our character's the kind of guy who wouldn't want to help. I mean, I don't know why else he would be there, but at the same time, he did kill people, kids, frankly. I don't know. There's a lot of moral gray area kind of stuff going on here that I don't really know how it's all gonna shake out, because we're just not innocent. So there's a lot of reason to be suspicious of us. So I definitely understand it, but I would really like it if we could have a friend in the diamond business, in this crazy dance that we call life. But we'll see. And I think that's really all else I have to say. I predict that the dough man is going to be a traitor. I predict that the safe haven is not actually a good place at all, and it's like a faux resistance to lure the creatures in, thinking that they're going to be fed and taken care of, but they're really not. I think that the anti-Poppy propaganda is to further the goals of Harley Sawyer and the prototype, and I think that Olly is not real, frankly. I think that there's no way that a kid is still alive or snuck in or something like that. I think it's probably the prototype, or he's some other entity like Pianosaurus and Yarnaby and stuff like that, who's under the orders of the prototype and it's just deceiving us. That's unfortunate, but it is the way that I think. And you know what? We may very well already know. So let me know in the comments, how right, how wrong am I? You know, what are your final predictions as you go into the game, or as you find your favorite YouTuber doing a playthrough of the game? Leave your final predictions in the comments so we can see how they compare. And then maybe come back to this video after you have seen the full gameplay and leave your new thoughts in the comments. I don't know, you know, have some fun with it. But regardless of whether or not you have any thoughts of your own, I would love it if you would like the video, if you enjoyed it, and if you really enjoyed the channel, I'd love it if you would subscribe and become a part of the nervous system. I upload videos every week and go live on most Wednesdays and Fridays, but if you can't wait, there are videos on the screen right now just for you. Okay, bye! Or some other entity like Pizzasaurus.